we're going to bring in a special guest, and his name is Marcus Garvey. So we're going to bring in Marcus Garvey in a minute, so he can talk to us about some of our Powernomics ideas. I mean, what is Powernomics without Garvey? Like, what is Boyce Watkins without Dr. Claude Anderson? I'm nothing without Dr. Anderson, and Dr. Anderson. I think he'd agree with me that he and I would be nothing without Marcus Garvey. He's the originator. He was the first one to do it all. He's the goatiest of all goats. So there we go. All right. So first thing that I want to mention to you all is in terms of powernomics and understanding economics, I like to bring up current events and things that I see that remind me of the pursuit of Black wealth and power and just how economic power operates in the real world, right? I saw a guy who was a Black man who basically went through something and they ruined his life. I don't know what he did exactly, but something happened where he pissed off the wrong person at his job, and they took his job. And when they took his job, they also caused him, a lot of anxiety and stress for whatever, for obvious reasons. And he was crying. He was really crying and sad, and he was saying, "I came from the hood and I worked my way up, and how could you do this to me?" And I felt bad for the poor guy, and it made me really think about the realities of life. And I think that sometimes we are under the false impression that the good guy is supposed to win. Like, or sometimes we live in this world where we believe that if you are right and you are just and you are correct and you are fair, that that's going to make a difference. And what I really see honestly right now across the world is being right and being just is not what breeds power. You look right now, for example, in terms of what's happening in the Middle East with Israel dropping bombs and killing little children in Palestine, which is absolutely horrible. And you say, well, why would we let something so terrible happen? Well, it's largely because of the amount of economic power that is possessed by a specific group of people. You know who it is, and they unfortunately there is a selection of those individuals, not everybody, but a selection of those individuals that are using that power in a way that is incredibly just horrifically unhealthy and really ruining their brand around the world. I mean, it's making all of them look very, very bad. So it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad not just for the people they're victimizing in this new Holocaust, but also it makes me feel bad for the people in their community who are ashamed of their behavior, right? It's almost like how the United States goes around the world and does terrible things, and people say you're an American, and you say yeah, and you say, well, so you support what they're doing, and you're like, no, I don't support any of that. Don't matter, right? We know it doesn't matter because we're all kind of under the same flag. So long story short, I want to point that out as before I get to my second topic. I want to point that out as an example of how power doesn't always have the moral compass that you think that it does. Power supersedes and overrides morality in many cases. It reminds me of when I was little and I would argue with my mother. And we would have a debate, and I would sometimes win because I wasn't a dumb kid. I don't know how smart I was. I was definitely a smart ass and definitely smart aleck. And so sometimes we'd be arguing and we'd have a debate, and I'd start winning. And then eventually my mother would just say, well, just shut up. We're not going to the skating rink. I don't care what you say. And I say, well, what you just said, I just proved to you that, that you really do have $20 and that you really do have the time to take me. And so why can't I go? I'm right. And she would say, because I said so. Right. Because and so what she was doing was pulling out the trump card. She was just trumping me like Domino's son, you son of a bitch, like just dropping the big joker on me of power. Power is the big joker, and economics is directly linked to the big joker of power. And I think that what's happened in the Middle East is a huge economic lesson for you. The reason that people are not stopping what's happening, the reason our politicians are not doing anything is because if you look in the pockets of those politicians, many of them are Black. It's very shameful. Look at who's donated to their campaigns. Look at who paid to get them elected. They're walking around like little zombie robots supporting anything. If you say, hey, here's a picture of 20 dead 7-year-olds that were murdered on their way to trying to go pick up some food because they were hungry, they just look right past it. Like so that's the danger of money. That's the demon of money. That's the drug of money, right? You have these intelligent people, went to Harvard and Yale, smartest people that there are, probably who want to believe that they are good people, and because of the money, They're literally supporting policies that are no less than demonic. One of the most horrific tragedies that we've seen in our generation or beyond. I just can't, so I just want to just mention that, not just because I do care. I ain't gonna lie, you hurt kids, it bothers me, but also just the economics behind it, right? This is what money does. Money. So what happened? So I contrast that to times where I've seen Black people say, "Well, that's not right." Money doesn't care if you're right, or that's not fair. Power doesn't care if it's fair. Or that ain't right. They how they gonna do that to me? That ain't right. They just did that to me because I'm a Black man. Well, keep whining, keep crying, because every time you whine, every time you cry, every time you bust out in tears because of how much white people have oppressed you and hurt you, all you're doing is reminding them that there's nothing you can do about it. It's really bad when men do it. When you have a grown man who says, and then literally the man, he said, I pray to God and I'm a good person and I'm a good Christian and I came out of the hood and I worked hard and they just ruined my life and they did that to me, and he's 50 years old and he's crying. And I'm sitting there thinking that really honestly probably doesn't have the effect that you think it's going to have. I'm not making fun of him at all. I'm not saying that he's a punk. I get it. He went through hell, but I will just tell you that there are some people who go through hell and cry about it, and there are some people who go through hell and fight back, right? And I think that we're trained to not fight back. I think that we're trained to dwell on our victimhood and remind everyone of what horrible thing they did to us and how it's not right and it's not fair, and you did me dirty, and they gonna keep on doing us dirty because that's what they do. They always doing us dirty. But then there's some people who just go out there and win, who just say, ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for me. I got to figure it out. Okay. And this is really, I think, a message in terms of an honest conversation to have with kids about how economic realities work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you all a video. And actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about Shannon Sharpe in a minute. I'm going to get to that too. So if your attention span is short and you want me to get to Sharpe right away, you have to fast forward through the video or just go away, because I got to go through the motions and go through the whole process. Okay. Because this is a lesson. This is an economic lesson. So let me share this. I got this video. Man, I hope I can find the damn thing. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I should have. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the thing. It's on my Instagram. My Instagram is Dr. Boyce Finance. Please let me find this video. By the way, Meta stock blew up today. I don't know if y'all know that, but if you own Meta, or I wish you own Meta, I told you I was a big, heavy investor in Meta because I believe that they have a great future and they're doing a really great job of being on top of emerging technology. And so Meta stock just shot up like crazy today. So it was a good day for Meta. Anyway, there's a screenshot of Meta stock in terms of what it did. So that's pretty cool. All right. And we're going to bring Marcus Garvey to class in a minute, but let's skip that for a minute. I'm going to try to play this. Okay, hold on. Okay, boys. All right, here we go. Let's watch this video because it's really interesting to me. All right. So let me play. Here we go. Okay. Now, I'm gonna stop sharing. Did everybody see that video? Let me know. Give me a quick yes in the chat if you were able to see that. There was no sound. You saw it, but there's no sound. Did you hear it? Okay, let me play it again. Let me play it again. I'm gonna make sure I get the sound right this time. I apologize for that. Yeah, so what this video is, I'm gonna just tell you what it's about just so you can know what I'm playing, why I'm playing it. It's a comedic video with a father sending his daughter out into the real world. And as she's learning about the real world, he's dropping bills in her backpack. So let's watch it again. And I'm sorry about the audio thing. So this time, hopefully it'll work. Give me a yes if you can hear it this time around, okay? Here we go.
Congrats on graduating, sweetheart.
Thanks, Dad.
Good luck out in the real world. Wait!
Oh, what's this?
Out there, you gotta pay rent.
Okay. All right, bye.
Wait!
Well, what now?
You gotta pay your car note, too. And bills.
Oh!
Food. My favorite. Random car problems.
This is too much. I never seen you carry all of this. How long has that been there?
Your whole life.
I haven't noticed.
You never had to. Congrats.
Did everybody see that video? Was everyone able to hear it? Mia says it was good. Teresa says she couldn't hear it. Maybe Teresa, you might have to turn your audio up. Everybody saw that? Okay. So here's obviously it's brilliant. I love the parallel of of having, the bills kind of thrown in her backpack as she's walking out the door, and he's like, wait, car note, and it's a little heavier, and every time it's like, wait, rent, heavier. And that video was I'm gonna talk about it on a surface level, then I'm gonna talk about it on a deeper level. On the surface level, it's hilarious. It's touching, right? It's hilarious because you got the daughter who's like, yeah, I'm going out in the real world. I'm about to go ahead and do my thing. And now she's got this big old backpack on her back with 80 pounds worth of bills, and which lets her know about the real world. I actually sent that to our daughter, the one that's about to go to college. And I said, I need you to watch this video so you'll know how hard your parents work to make sure that you're good. Right. But then there's like the touching side of it, which is, her asking her dad, like, wait, that all that was there the whole time. And she's like, I never noticed. And he's like, you didn't have to, which is great, right? Because it's an appreciation for hardworking fathers when it comes to providing economic security for the family, and mothers. We know y'all jumping out there too, right? So it's nice to be appreciated. It's really great to be appreciated. And if you have a man in your life or a woman in your life that's working hard for you, just take a moment and say thank you for all the sacrifices that you made, because then nobody really owe you nothing, right? So that's I like that. I thought that was really touching and awesome and great to see. Now here's where I'm going to become a little bit of a nerd, because I have a different kind of eye with when it comes to financial stuff, just because that's what I study. Okay, first thing, notice that in the backpack, one of the weights he put in there was rent, right? And but it didn't say mortgage; it said rent. And so that was part of it, right? In the sense that there's like a culture, right? There's rent, there's car note, there's bills. Can't pay my telephone bills, can't pay my automobile, can't pay my bills. I don't think you do. So you and me are through. Right? Which is a great song, right? I could keep singing it because it's such a good song. But anyway, the point is that we know that bills matter and they're going to happen. And the question then becomes the question to ask, really, on a higher consciousness level, is to say, what bills are you expected to pay? And just sort of what does that look like? And do you have to pay bills? Do you have to work? Right? Because what he was saying is, look, I'm a father who's worked his whole life, and I've worked very hard to pay these bills because my bills are coming in here, and I'm working here to pay bills that are coming in now. So I worked in 1998 to pay bills that came in 1998. I worked in 2007 to pay bills that came in 2007. I worked in 2014 to pay bills that came in 2014. And this is actually a financial concept in the sense that you might call this a type of time matching. It's like time matching, which basically says this. It says, I'm reacting to my economic environment. The bills coming in now, I'm working now to pay the bills that come in now. So when I get the check now, I pay the bills that came in now, and then I sit back and get ready for the bills that are going to come in later, and I'm going to work later to pay the bills that come in later. That's one way to approach this kind of thing, but there's another way to approach it, which Calvin McWilliams, smartest black man in the world, he already knows this. There's a proactive way to approach it. Why is it not the case that you can't pay today's bills with money that you worked for 5 years ago? Why is it that there's always a one-to-one time matching? And this, believe it or not, I took a whole class in cash flow timing, which was the beginning of a very long journey where I began to really understand the deep relationship between time and money. And then I realized, I said, Blackview, we're not just wasting money, we're wasting time. Time, that's the secret. That's what you're wasting, right? And so here's the thing. So the dad is like, here's what I did for 30 years, baby. I went to work every day so I could pay bills that were coming in that month, and I did it consistently, and I was on a tightrope. Why am I on a tightrope? I'm on a tightrope because if at any point during this process I had got disabled or something bad had happened, I got hit by a car, everybody would have been screwed. everybody would be screwed because all this work I'm doing to pay bills that are coming in right now wouldn't have happened anymore. Now, how do you prepare for that? Obviously, things like insurance and all that. That's what insurance is for. Life insurance, automobile, whatever, health insurance. Okay, good. But then also there's other kinds of insurance in the sense of saying, why do you have to work right now to pay bills that are coming in right now? I can tell you, you want to know how I pay my bills right now, honestly? I pay bills right now with money that I earned 20 years ago. I pay bills right now with investments I made. Um, and not just investments with money, but investments with time. I pay bills with my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, my PhD. I finished my PhD in 2002. I haven't gone to school for 23 years. And I pay bills with that because that was an investment I made at that time. Now, my friends didn't all make that investment. A lot of them, were living and doing their thing. I was thinking like, okay, if I do this now, I can pay bills when I'm 50 with investments I'm making now. Um, and that's one thing they actually say about money. They say that if you're lucky, you could be in a situation where you get paid well for the work that you're doing, but really you want to get to the point where you're getting paid well for work that you've already done. Right. So that's the first thing. Second piece to that too is your daughter's about to go out into the world. And I'm not making fun of this dad. I got it. That's a typical American, Black American family situation. Right. But with this dad, I want to I would love to have a talk with him and say, all right, so your daughter's about to go out into the world and you're already telling her that it's going to suck. And it's going to suck because all the joy and the happiness that she's feeling about being free is going to be bogged down significantly by the fact that she now has to face this horrible reality of paying bills like the rest of us. And not only is that weight on her back going to be heavy, but it's going to get heavier. It's going to get heavier because she's going to accumulate more bills. She's going to accumulate student debt. She's going to accumulate more financial baggage. And the prices, those bills inflate over time. Inflation increases the price of food. It increases the price of rent. It increases the price of cars, everything, right? So that kind of would make me want to stay a kid, right? That would not make me want to grow up and do anything adult because it sounds terrible. Because on top of the fact that that heavy bag is on your back and it's getting heavier by the second, you have to go do some horrible shit to deal with what's on your back. You got this baggage, these big bills, and you're going to have to do some horrible things in order to pay those bills. First thing you have to do because you're Black is you're going to have to go get a job working for a white man who's going to abuse you, mistreat you, disrespect you, and stress you out so much that you have to go home and drink a bottle of vodka just to feel better and just to get mentally ready to go back to work again. In worst case scenarios, maybe you're sexually harassed, maybe you're racially harassed. At the very least, you're going to deal with the standard mistreatment that capitalist corporations drop onto all American citizens, not just the Black ones, but it's just sort of doubly worse for Black people. Um, on top of that, you're, oh, by the way, and all this stress that you're going through is not going to actually make your life better. It just means you're going to survive. You're not going to actually thrive and fly. You can't fly with 80 pounds on your back. You're just trying to stay out of the mud, right? You're going to survive. You're not going to flourish. You're not going to fly. You're just going to survive until the day that you just get too tired and you just drop dead. So you'll be a tired, angry Black woman because life is hard and you're not kind of ready to figure out how this thing works. And then when you're 28 years old, maybe you'll be singing Beyonce songs like, can't pay my telephone bill, can't pay my automobile, right? He's trifling, good for nothing kind of brother, right? So you'll get to the point where not only will the financial burden be so heavy, but you will make relationship decisions based on the ability of your potential partner to help you pay those bills. You won't get to pick a man because because he treats you well. You won't get to pick him because he's a great guy. People will tell you, no, pick him based on whether or not he can help you pay those heavy bills that are in your backpack. I think there's a better way. Two things. One, you got to ask yourself, like, what am I paying? Who am I paying it for? And what am I paying it with? Okay. So what are we paying? Well, we're paying, I mentioned rent and car notes and stuff like that. Well, remember, paying a mortgage is much more beneficial than paying rent. So that means that we've had an educational process where when we are spending money and paying for things, we're paying for ownership. We're owning things. We're owning stock. We're owning real estate. We're owning a business. We're doing all these things because they're going to not just help us pay bills, but also put us in a position where our money's working for us. That's the first thing. So there's the educational component. But then there's that secondary component of saying, okay, we know that dad was paying a whole lot of bills and he wasn't just, daddy, he might have been married to mama for 30 years, but he wasn't financially monogamous. He was a financial polygamist. He was a financial polygamist because he wasn't just taking care of his wife and children with the money he was spending. He was also taking care of the wife and children of the landlord for 30 years. When he paid $1,000, $2,000 a month for rent on time every month, he literally bought two mansions for the landlord. He bought them $1 million worth of property because when they invest that money that he's giving them, they're buying property with that money and that property is appreciating in value. He's not just taking care of his own wife and kids, he's taking care of the wife and kids of the car dealer. The car dealer is taking that $400, $500 a month car note. And as you all know, if you invest $450 a month in the S&P 500, which is what the car dealer probably did, after about, let me see, after about 30 years, it becomes something like $750,000 that's in the pockets of the other family that isn't in the pocket of his daughter, because if his daughter had $750,000 in her backpack with the money, she wouldn't that rent and car note and all that wouldn't even be that heavy. It's not hard to pay $2,000 a month worth of bills if you've got $250,000 in your bank account. You see what I mean? So what I'm saying is you gotta commit to thinking different when it comes to your economic preparation. We've got to get out of this model of believing that being black means that you're born to suffer. We got to get out of this model of believing that because we got it out of the mud. The kids have to get it out of the mud too. You got it out of the mud, so they don't have to get it out of the mud. You suffered, so they don't have to suffer. They're going to have other problems. Let them have white people problems, or let them have rich people problems instead of having broke people problems. If you have broke people problems, you don't even have time to think about the other problems because all you're thinking about is how to not be broke and how to pay bills. So next thing you know, you're singing Beyonce songs because you're picking your partners in life and the people in your life based on how much money they have. And in worst case scenario, your daughter ends up at a Diddy party because she's broke and has dreams of actually having money and having comfort. And rather than daddy helping her get the soft life, Diddy is helping her get the soft life. The Diddy's of the world and the R. Kellys of the world kind of thrive off of unprotected women. I mean, that really is kind of the idea there, right? Like guys like that, they don't tend to spend a lot of time with women that have strong protective fathers who are able to guide and protect them financially and otherwise. They tend to be connected to women who are financially desperate, who are doing any and everything that they possibly can to survive, because the day they walked out the door, they had a big backpack full of bills and it was already weighing them down, right? So I hope that makes sense. Give me a yes if that makes sense so I can move on to the next topic. I just thought that video was interesting. And again, because I like to nerd out a little bit, I thought I would go a little deeper with it, not because I'm complaining. I thought it was really funny and it was really touching. But then I was like, okay, let's be serious for a minute and let's just see how we can really analyze this in a way that takes us to the next level, right? What's the next level? I think that's the question all Black people have to ask is this all that there is? And remember, being Black, it does not mean you're born to suffer. It means you're born to be happy. You're born to thrive. You're born to do well. All it takes is a little bit of preparation and to think about your economics in a different way. Okay. All right. Now, a quick reminder, don't forget the tickets for the All Black National Convention will not be available after August 1st. So you got 2 days to get your convention. I guess 2 days. Yeah. To get your passes for the convention, we're going to be in Atlanta. Thousands of intelligent Black people from around the world are going to gather, and we're going to just get together and just be smart and love each other and help each other and support each other. We got 60 experts coming in all different areas: relationships, mathematics, real estate, everything you can imagine. Therapy, psychiatrists are coming, just all kinds of people. So you'll get a chance to meet some pretty amazing people there. And it's going to be the biggest, blackest all black national convention ever. And so if you want to join us, just go to allblacknationalconvention.com. That's allblacknationalconvention.com. We added a third day. We're going to be there on Sunday too. We're going to do all day on Sunday. We're going to do economic elevation circles. We're going to do sessions on stock options and insurance. We're going to do sessions on relationships, how to have healthy relationships in a way that benefits you economically, etc. And so if you want to join us on Sunday, everybody who gets a pass can just automatically stay on Sunday. So if you get your ticket from the Black Business School, then you can stay till Sunday. And also everyone who comes in on Sunday, I will offer a free 1-year pass to our economic elevation circles. That's worth over $1,000. If you stay till Sunday, I will give you all the pass and you can join us in the economic elevation circle for a whole year for free. And the economic elevation circles are pretty awesome. It's where we make our 100-year plans for our families. I help you with that. We talk about that in a small group setting. You guys are going to love it. So there you go. So that's my pitch. The website is allblacknationalconvention.com. Rianne is in the chat. Rianne just wrote it in there. It's allblacknationalconvention.com. Okay, now let's do something else. Let's bring it out. Let's talk really quickly. One thing I want to talk about quickly is Shannon Sharpe. So Shannon Sharpe, did you all see what happened with Shannon Sharpe? He just lost that job. And if by the way, someone's asking, did you know that the Black Business School is the same weekend as InvestFest? Yes, and that was, I'm not gonna say it was deliberate, but I'm glad it happened because I want you to have options. Like I went to InvestFest. I normally wouldn't travel for InvestFest, but I went to InvestFest because we happened to be there. And there are people, like I went there and it was like being Michael Jackson. I could not walk 10 feet. I had to get security to help me get out of the building because so many people were like, Dr. Boyce, you were the reason I started investing. And I was really happy about that. Like it was really cool to see, like I see that the InvestFest is kind of like the next level of what we've been trying to do since 2006, right? So to me, it's like, it's what I dreamed of, where I want Black culture to be synonymous with wealth. Like I want all of us to be wealthy. I want us to literally everything that the Jewish community did financially, except blow up and kill little children in Palestine. I want us to be that powerful. I want us to do that and then some. I don't want us declaring war on people and dropping bombs on anybody, but I do want us to be powerful enough that you ain't gonna drop a bomb on us because we're gonna be so prepared. We're gonna be so ready financially. We're gonna be so economically strong. It takes time. So this will happen by the year 2070, by the way. It's called Project 2070. I wrote about it in my book. It's called It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, A New Paradigm for Black America. So you can grab that book somewhere. It's out there probably for free or something, but you can grab it. So anyway, long story short, I'm glad InvestFest is the same time because it gives me a chance to go over there. And I love what they're doing. I think it's really great. And it blends with hip hop culture, and some areas of hip hop culture I can't mess with. Like I don't want to, I never would have had, like I don't want to hang out with Diddy on stage, and I don't want to have some of these rappers. So because some of these guys are not my cup of tea. But at the same time, though, they have a lot of great people there. Like D1 was performing there, and D1, he's come to several all Black national conventions, and I went over there to support D1, right? So long story short, we're all in this together. We have to do these things together. If you work together as groups, then you can accomplish more. There's another guy, Isaac, I think it's Isaac Hayes Jr. that's doing Fanbase. I just made an investment in his Fanbase startup. So I was a little nervous because when I invest in stuff and I tell people, people think that I'm responsible if the business doesn't work out. So like with the Tulsa Fund, I supported that too. And people thought that somehow I was like a partner and an owner in it. I never was, but I did make an investment because it's like, well, why not? Right. And I think that should be your thinking when it comes to investing is instead of saying, why should I invest? You should say, well, why not? Why not? So I think I bought about $5,000 worth of stock, and I think he's raised a few $1 million, and I will get an account and support however I can. All right. So anyway, with that being said, let's move on to something else. Shannon Sharpe, as you see, he got fired from his job from ESPN, but that was to be expected. Shannon was not going to be an ESPN employee with those kinds of allegations. There was no way. Disney's supposed to be family friendly, and I can imagine them keeping a person on staff who who actually gave money to a person who accused him of whatever he was accused of. I think he was accused of sexual assault. And I think it's going to get worse for Shannon in one sense that once people know that you're willing to write a check, they know you're willing to settle, they smell blood in the water. And so if he's had sex with lots of women or lots of people, maybe he sleeps with men too. I have no idea. He's going to have lots of people coming at him because a lot of people are struggling financially. And I mean, imagine if you could call, imagine if you have some ex, like think about an ex that you have that where you just hate their guts and you're just so mad at them. And imagine if a lawyer said, hey, look, all you got to do is say that they mentally abused you, or all you got to do is say, hey, I bought her things and she forced me to do it. She coerced me, she tricked me, she manipulated me into buying her a Gucci purse, right? Or whatever, right? And claim abuse and say, if you don't give me money, I'm gonna ruin your reputation. So then a lot of people would probably do that. In fact, David Geffen, who's like a Hollywood guy. I watched a whole documentary about him. He happens to be gay. He's gay and Jewish, Hollywood, right? And he has a boyfriend who's a young black man, and because black men, we everybody wants us, and literally same thing is happening with him. The boyfriend is saying that he was coerced into getting plastic surgery. He says, what else did he say? I think he said it wasn't like he assaulted him sexually. I think it was something else. I think he basically was like saying that he was manipulated and used and stuff like that. Tyler Perry is getting sued like that. You've seen that, right? There's a white guy suing Tyler Perry. I guess because Tyler was attracted to him, and the guy saying, I felt uncomfortable, and it did this to me, did that to me. So he's suing for like $50 million or something. So these lawsuits, I think Shannon, unfortunately, he's going to draw a lot of these suits, and I bet my last nickel that there are all kinds of legal issues coming in that are going to be very tough for him. Now, the one smart thing Shannon did that he deserves full credit for as well is he does have his own business. He's never been a full employee, from what I understand. He's smart enough to know that, right? I think he owns Club Shay Shay. Now, again, though, the problem though is that even if, first off, I don't care how much Club Shay Shay generates in revenue. At the end of the day, an ESPN contract can be worth 100 million. Like Stephen A. Smith, I think did or is about to sign for $100 million. I don't care how rich you are. Most people cannot just easily, casually walk away from 100 million, 120 million. Okay, so let's just be clear about that, right? So, but still though, one smart thing that he did is he set up his own shop with Club Shay Shay, and he's probably got related stuff going on with that, which is fine. I would be curious to know what the revenue model of Club Shay Shay is, though, because if his revenue model is built on things like corporate sponsorships, most corporations are not going to want to co-brand with somebody who's been accused of sexual assault. They're just not gonna, So you'll get some, you might get, Willie's Fried Chicken to want to do an ad with you, for a few $100 or a couple thousand or whatever. But Disney ain't gonna do it. DraftKings ain't gonna do it, right? And think about it. The DraftKings, I'm sure DraftKings love people like that because oh wow, you got young men. We're trying to create as many gambling addicts as we possibly can. So you got young men that love your show. Yeah, well, I'm sure. I have no doubt he had to deal with either DraftKings or some related company. That's what they're doing right now. That's one of the other sinister things that's happening that you should be aware of, and you should probably warn your sons about this. They're quietly creating a gambling epidemic in America. If you ever want to go through hell, if you ever want to put yourself in personal and financial hell, form a gambling addiction. Form a gambling addiction because gambling is the tricky. It's the economic devil. Heavy gambling is the economic devil because it tempts you. It gets you all like feeling like you're gonna like the next roll of the dice is gonna be your big win, and it manipulates your dopamine levels to the point where you're like a financial crackhead, and you dig yourself into deeper and deeper holes to the point where you can't get out of the hole. And so the reason that you'll hear about a lot of gambling addicts who unalive themselves, who take their own lives, is because they get in these impossible situations where you have now literally gambled away the house. You've gambled away, you're $200,000 in debt. The bookies are coming to kill you, and you got a wife and kids who are dependent on you. So a lot of people, unfortunately, there have been a lot of people that have taken their own lives. That's why I absolutely hate the fact that they let sports betting become legal and they've integrated it into sports, and they're literally marketing heavily, mostly toward young men between the ages of 20 and 35. There's something about that age group and something about men. They can't do it so much as much with women. They can't do it so much as much with the OGs, like people over 40. 40, because when you're over 40, you kind of learn a couple things. But those young men between 20 and 35, because they're confident, they believe they all got a system that's going to work and whatever until it doesn't work. And it's very, very sad to watch. So the Shannon Sharps are right in the middle of that. They approach the Shannon Sharps. In fact, they market heavily to black males. That's why for a lot of these sports betting sites, you'll see Jamie Foxx, you'll see Kevin Hart. Usually for black men, they'll hit a lot of rappers, actors, and comedians, as well as athletes that are popular with black men. So that's why you'll see the Kevin Harts and stuff like that in these ads. So it's so this is coming. So when you see a headline talking about the gambling addiction epidemic in America and how it's going to be bigger than opioid, just know I told you about it 3 years before they started writing about it. But it's happening. My wife's a therapist, and she's alerting me to some of the problems that they're starting to see in the therapist's office. So the next thing I want to talk about quickly is I want to go and bring Marcus Garvey into class. So let's bring Marcus in, and I want to share something. This is on my Instagram. My Instagram is Dr. Boyce Finance. So if you ever want to have if you want to do something really trippy and weird, come to my Instagram page and just say hello. Let's see here, and let me see. Let me pull this up. And this is me just being a clown and using AI and having fun, but I thought this would be like a funny thing, cool thing to do. So let's play Marcus Garvey, who's
I'm Marcus.
the goatiest of all goats, and let's listen to what he says here in this video that I created just because I don't know, because I'm weird like that. And let's dissect this message. So here it goes.
Garvey with the truth about black economics. Rule 1, be black, think black. A race that depends on others will always struggle. Rule 2, take every opportunity, and where there's none, create it yourself. Rule 3, build your own businesses, control your destiny. Economic independence leads to true freedom. Stop waiting for handouts and start building your empire.
Okay, were y'all able to hear that? Let me know if you can hear that. Give me a quick yes. And let's play it again. And I want you to take notes, because sometimes the most powerful messages are the simplest messages. So Marcus Garvey had a pretty simple message for the most part. I mean, he was a complex man, but he related to the masses because he had a powerful message. It's very simple. And I'm gonna play it again, and I want us to really listen carefully. And at the end, that's that picture, that famous picture of Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, two of my greatest heroes of all time. My grandmother went to high school with Muhammad Ali at Central High School in Louisville, Kentucky. And I walked the same streets as Ali. He gave me a lot of inspiration. Also, when I moved to Chicago, I lived a block and a half away from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I would go to Minister Farrakhan's house, and we'd talk, every now and then. And I know Malcolm walked through the streets of Chicago as well as through Harlem, which is another place I've done a lot of work in. So these two guys, I just relate to them so much, and so this picture was iconic. So I just kind of did some AI and just said, well, what happens? Like, let's make the picture come to life. So that's why they're moving around, and
I'm Marcus Garvey with the truth about black economics. Rule 1, be black, think black. A race that depends on others will always struggle. Rule 2, take every opportunity, and where there's none, create it yourself. Rule 3, build your own businesses, control your destiny. Economic independence leads to true freedom. Stop waiting for handouts and start building your empire. I'm Marcus Garvey with the truth.
All right, so you got the message, right? So let's dissect that really quickly. I was just having fun. I hope that helps in terms of just, I don't know, it's just something fun to do. All right, so here are the 3 points that was made through AI Garvey, and I really think in general, and if you want to grab that clip, you can go to my Instagram. It's at Dr. Boyce Finance, and if you go in there and you type in the word like stock or money, I have a training called How to Make Money Without Working. Just type the word money in the comments, and I'll send you a copy of that training. You can take a look at that. The stock options are a great way to make money, right? So here is the first part of the message. First message was be black and be independent. And that really speaks to financial consciousness in terms of understanding what money is and what wealth is. And money and wealth isn't just money, though. Most forms of wealth are not money. Wealth is energy. It's energy. And the thing about power is connected to energy. People that have power have some energy source that gives them that power. Right? So perhaps you could say, again, I'm not a physicist here, but you could say that power is the application of energy, right? Like if Mike Tyson punches me in the face with power, it's because he has this energy, this locked up energy in his arm. He extends it and goes full force, and next thing you know, I'm in a coma. Right? So power and energy are connected, but power must be targeted energy. Energy has to be targeted. You got to decide, where's my energy going to go? So if Mike Tyson says, I want to punch Boyce in the face, but he doesn't target the punch. If he just flails and swings his arms and punches the wall, then he's going to run out of energy and he's not going to have any power, at least not over me. He's not going to actually accomplish anything with his power. Do you understand? It will be wasted energy, wasted power. So think of Black economics, that 1.7, 1.8 trillion that we have in our coming through our bank accounts every year. That is economic energy. And that economic energy could be translated into economic power, right? Because if we aim for the target, but we have to aim. If we aim for the target, we can knock a hole through the wall. We can punch anybody out. We can accomplish any goal that we want. So the question then becomes, in that first statement about being Black says to me, one of the many things it might say is that because I have a Black identity, how many of y'all are Black in here? How many of you identify with being Black? How many of you feel extra Black on a Tuesday just because it's Tuesday? How many of y'all are Blackity Black? How many other people in here are not scared to be Black, excited to be Black, proud to be Black, just happy to be Black, glad you were born to be Black, wouldn't change Blackness if you got $1 million to do it, right? So a lot of you love being Black. So being Black, so when he says be Black, what that speaks to, one of the many things it speaks to me is it means that that is part of your core identity, which means that any energy that you have through your resources or knowledge or skill set should be targeted toward Black power. Do you understand? Like you have 40 hours a week that you go to work every day. Is that 40 hours a week being targeted to Black power? Or is it going out to everybody else? It's going out to everybody else, because that's why the wealth doesn't grow. That's why their wealth goes up and your wealth goes down. You have free time. Is that being targeted to Black power? You have knowledge and skill. Is that being targeted to Black power? You have spending power. Is that targeted to Black power? Because the term spending power only becomes powerful if you target the power properly. Mike Tyson could lay out the most powerful punch in the world, but if he don't land on nothing, then that is wasted power. That's not power. There's nothing powerful about a punch that doesn't hit the target. It's only going to make you tired. It's only going to drain you. There's nothing powerful about a punch where you hit the wrong person. Like, imagine if he's aiming for me and he hits his mother in the face. Well, that's the misappropriation of power. He does not benefit from that. But if he hits the target now you're talking. Now you're talking about winning a battle. And if you don't believe that economics is warfare, then I'd like to educate you on how the world works. So what happens is, when you talk about things like oppression, which many of us feel that Black people are oppressed, and I agree with you. Oppression, for the most part, happens because somebody else is taking their power and they're targeting it toward you. They're targeting their power. They're using their economic power, and they're saying, oh, we're going to keep these Negroes in check. We're going to beat them down every chance we get. We're going to make sure they ain't never got nothing. We're going to make sure we stop them everywhere. We're going to distract them. We're going to do everything we can to beat them down and control them and manage them, because we're going to carefully target our power. We're going to spend time carefully building the cage, carefully building the whip to go along with the cage, and carefully brainwashing them to ensure that they never grow into anything that's going to be a threat to our power. Do you understand? So basically, when he says be Black and be independent, that means use your power in a way that you see appropriate and target that stuff. Target that. You get extra time, target that time to the things that matter to you. Target it to your kids, target it to your spouse, target it to your health, target it to your finances, target it to your future, target it to your investments, target it to all the things that matter to you. Don't just waste energy. Don't just waste power. I target all I have intellectual power because I have a lot of education in the world of economics and the world of finance. Every single day when I'm talking to you about finances and hoping somebody's listening to me, that is an example of me saying, okay, I got a little power. Let's target that. Okay. So be Black. Be Black. Don't be scared to be Black. I think that's a great message. Second part, he talks about creating opportunities. Woo! I wish I had a nickel every time I heard a Black person say, that they wish somebody would give them an opportunity. And I'm not mad at them for it because we're trained to think that way. I remember even James Brown, when he said, I don't want nobody to give me nothing. Just open the door and I'll get it myself. And what that says to me is that he's talking about opportunity, right? That he's literally saying, give me an opportunity, open the door, and then I'll get it myself. And I admire that. I mean, that does show a certain degree of self-determination, but it kind of also says that your ability to get what you want is limited by whether or not they actually open the door. I don't think you have to wait for somebody to open the door. I think you either kick down the door or you go build a door and you're the locksmith of that door, and then you can open the door whenever you want. Then other people are begging you to open the door. How about that? How about we become door manufacturers up in here? We need door factories. We just need to go making door. We need to make doors and make tables so that we'll stop asking people to open doors and give us seats at the table. I want our children to be table and door factory makers. I want them to mass produce billions of doors and billions of tables so that we don't have to worry about nobody giving us a seat or nothing. So when he talks about creating opportunity, what he's really doing, what Garvey is doing from the grave is he is giving you the blueprint on what is required to become an economic god. You can take the word beg. He says, stop begging for handouts. Stop begging people to take care of you. Stop begging people to let you through. Take the word beg, B-E-G, and flip that definition. Beg should stand for Black Economic God. So every day I'm going to come in here and I'm going to beg my ass off, because at the end of the day, what I'm going to be and what you're going to be and what our kids are going to be is they're going to be Black Economic gods. So they're going to be begging their whole life, but it's going to be completely flipped. It's going to lead to real power, the real ability to shape their destiny, the real ability to decide what opportunities they're going to have. And this is a line of thinking. There's a line of thinking. And this is a bold line of thinking. This is something that many of us are afraid to do. Because we're gonna piss off white folks or old people, even Black people are gonna be afraid of you. Sometimes that happens. I have a lot of Black people that were afraid of me back in the day. Some still are. I still run into Black people that are afraid of me. I'm like, what are you afraid of? You're afraid of yourself. That's your problem. You're scared to just stand up to the bully. I'm gonna punch the bully in the face. I'm gonna bite his arm and I'm gonna kick him in his testicles. You ain't got no right to tell me what to do. So BEG stands for Black Economic God. An economic God is someone who has the ability to manifest their financial reality. That's what an economic God can do. And you know what economic gods are because you've been worshiping the economic God your whole life. It's just the economic God appears in the form of a white Jesus for you. The white man is your economic God. Think about it. I go to church. I'm like, dear Jesus, please give me the promotion so that I can do for my kids. And then the white man says, you're a good boy. You've done a great job. I'm going to give you that promotion. You're like, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And why are you praying in church to Jesus? You should have went to the God and pray to the boss. Pray to the boss. Get on your knees and just pray and be nice to him. Maybe because he's your God. He's the one that decides if your dreams get to come true or not. Am I lying? Am I lying? Now think about this. Think about how much we are trained to believe that our ability to have what we want is contingent upon what the economic gods will allow. I don't believe that. I don't think that's true. I think if you have the skill set, if you're trained on the skill set, and we can train our children on this very early. Marcus Garvey leaves blueprints. Dr. Claude Anderson leaves blueprints. I got a couple of blueprints. My book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, was designed to build Black economic gods. I want the beggars, BEG, Black economic gods. That is the ability to manifest. There are some people in our community that actually understand this. One of the reasons I love the Nation of Islam is because the Nation of Islam understands this. They understand manifesting. For example, you'll never see members of the nation sitting around saying, we need white folks to come and build a grocery store so we can eat. You'll never hear them talk like that. They'll say, okay, how do we raise the capital to build a grocery store so that we can feed ourselves? So when he talks about creating opportunities, he's really helping you have that financial consciousness to not just know how to seek out an opportunity, but to know where opportunities come from. Opportunities are created by other people. And so rather than waiting for them to do it for you, you can do this for yourself. These tools can be taught to children when they're young. Third thing he says is he talks about black-owned businesses and stop looking for handouts. I believe that every business major in college should also make sure that they're trained on business development. Because what if you know how to manage a business, but there is no business to manage? It's a lot like getting a driver's license, but you don't have a car. What if there is no car? What are you gonna do? Just do like the 5-year-olds and sit on the cardboard box and pretend like you're driving? Are you gonna sit on the side of the street waiting for somebody to pick you up and hope that they pick you up so you get to drive? Or do you find a way to create a car so that you can actually implement the skill that you have and do it in a way where that energy and that skill set is being targeted back to you, where you're the primary beneficiary of the efforts and the intellect and the skill sets that you bring to the table? We need infrastructure. Infrastructure is something that isn't discussed enough, but infrastructure is critical for the building of a community. You must, I am a black nationalist for the most part to the core. I don't hate white people. I have nothing against white people. In fact, I have a certain degree of respect for what they've created and built for themselves and their families. I don't get offended when they take care of their own. I'm that guy. But at the same time, I really believe that that is the ideology we should consider, because it comes down to having the ability to manifest and create the things that you want. It creates the ability to have opportunities. You can be identifiably black and not be ashamed of it. Other people can't control you, beat you up, and stress you out and punish you every time you get out of line. You have real power to, at the very least, even if you're not going into someone's territory and fighting with them, you at least have the ability to walk away and be okay. I can walk out of your house and know that I've got a house down the street because maybe you and I aren't getting along. I don't have to come to your house and take it over, but I'm definitely not going to be homeless. Right? And that creates options for me, and options are the keys to power. Options are everything. So Marcus Garvey, rest his soul. Number one, he should be, and I'm gonna finish up on this point. Marcus Garvey should be someone that every single black child in America should know about. I don't care if they don't teach about him in public school. Who gives a damn what they teach in the public school? You're the teacher. You're the first teacher of that child. You're the only one that's going to teach him or her what they need to know in order to be a successful black person. It is your job to do it. If they don't understand who Garvey is, don't blame that white lady at school. Why in the hell is it her job to teach your black children about black heroes? That's not her job. If I'm her, I wouldn't do it either. If I'm white and you dumb enough to let me come educate your kids, then hell yeah, I'm gonna teach them. I'm gonna be like, yeah, white people, we're the best, and our yellow pale skin is superior skin, and we this stringy hair that smells like dog piss every time we get sweaty. That this is what you want. You want to look like us and be like us and be accepted by us. I'm kidding. I'm just see that's stuff that gets me in trouble. I should stop this. I should stop. I gotta slow down, boys. But you get my point, right? If I'm white and I'm dealing with black people who are so addicted to me that they really need me to educate their kids, I'm gonna teach them everything wonderful about being white, because in my mind, because I've been also cursed with white supremacy, I believe that the best thing I can do for a black child is to teach them how to be less black. The best thing I can do for a black child is to get him out of his neighborhood. Am I right or am I right? The best thing I can do for the black child is to assimilate him into my culture and make him a soldier in my army, because at home they ain't got no structure. They ain't got no infrastructure. So just come be with us. We can use more workers. Come hang out with us. We can use more shoppers and consumers. Oh, we got landlords. We can use more tenants. Do you understand? So, but that energy belongs to us. Those are our kids. You gave birth to those black babies. That if they're gonna pay rent, they should be paying rent to a black landlord. If they're gonna buy clothes, they should be buying from a black business. If they're gonna go and work for somebody, they should be working for a black-owned company. All that's economic energy. When I pay rent, that's economic energy. The energy should be targeted. When I go shopping, that's economic energy. That energy should be targeted. When I pay a bill, when I do anything, that when I get up and go to work, all these things, this is all economic energy. The energy should be properly applied to the place that I want it to go. Why? Well, because I'm precious, I'm valuable, and everybody knows that, including white people. White people know how valuable black people are because they tap into us so much to get what they need. We fuel and we supply the rest of the world. It's very important that we also fuel and supply ourselves. And it starts with the thinking that you that we implement in with the kids. And it starts with learning from people like Marcus Garvey and Dr. Claude Anderson. If I'm raising black kids, I'm introducing them to Garvey's core ideas, and I'm introducing them to Powernomics core ideas, and then we can get to everything else after that. And then maybe we sprinkle in some Boyce Watkins at some point. If you give me the honor of helping to guide your children, believe me, it's an honor I do not take for granted. I love that because I didn't have enough kids of my own. That was my big life mistake, by the way. That was the one mistake I made. I wish I just had like 10 kids, and I'd probably be like barking at them all day instead of doing this. But really, the fact that you're letting me help you in terms of guiding your kids to be economically powerful in the next generation, that is an honor that means everything to me. And I want to say thank you for letting me be a part of that journey because I know that we're going to win. I know that we're the best. I know that when we focus and we put our mind on it, we cannot be stopped. So let's create the unstoppable race. Let's build the black economic gods. Let's make our black people great again. And let's really be what we were, 2, 3, 4,000 years ago. We are the kings and the queens of the earth. We are the ones who are supposed to win. We cannot be stopped when we focus. And that's what I want you to walk away with today. Okay. All right. So shout out to Marcus Garvey for giving us the blueprint. I appreciate his existence and I'm sorry that people were so mean to him back in the day. That poor man was so far ahead of his time. It's ridiculous. But that's all right. We're going to implement those ideas and make it happen. All right. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. By the way, if you want to copy my book, it's called The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. You can go to drboycebooks.com and you can get a big discount. Use the code word morning70 at checkout, all one word morning70, and it'll take 70% off pretty much almost anything you buy in the store, except for the tickets for the convention. We can't do that because we have to pay a certain amount per person to attend the convention. But everything else, use morning70 at drboycebooks.com. And we got flashcards for kids, financial workbooks, all kinds of stuff. Just look around, drboycebooks.com. I think you guys are going to like it. All right, so I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. And if you want to be on the text list to get a notification when we meet for Powernomics training next week, we're going to get back to Dr. Anderson's books. Just text the word greatness to the phone number 87948. So text greatness to 87948. Have a good day, everybody. God bless you. Thank you for listening to me. And I'm sorry if I rambled a little bit, but I don't know. I'm feeling kind of pumped up today. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.